And welcome. This is Fulcrum. Um, it is great to have you here. I'm super excited to get this started. We got a couple amazing guests today. We've got Darth Choco and Bucky. But again, I'm super excited to be here to start a weekly live podcast. And again, we're streaming on both YouTube and Twitch. Um, I let's see who's in the chat here. Oh, let's go. I love it. Okay. So just to get started, let's go ahead and bring our guests in. Our first wonderful guest. You know him from everywhere, from YouTube, from two different podcasts for a couple years, and of course, he's one of our lore masters. Let's bring in Darth Choco.
Hello there.
Hello
Thank you for
there.
having me.
Thank you for being on.
Yeah, excited to be part of the core crew getting this thing off and running. So that's cool.
Well, I mean, definitely with you having been on Wednesdays for a long time, and being who you are in the world of Star Wars, I am very honored to have you on here. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better replacement.
Well, that's high honors. All right, let's bring in our other guest, our favorite gingersareplants, Bucky. Hello there.
Hi.
Hi, and welcome.
It's really good to be here. I'm very excited.
I'm excited to have you both on here. Trying to think of who I wanted to have on here first time around. And of course, all the nerves of starting something like this. Two people that I know, first of all, know far more about Star Wars than I do. And and are probably
that is
the
very
nicest
kind,
people
and I
in the
doubt
world.
that's true.
Well, we all have our specialties, though, I guess. Yeah.
It's not how much you know, it's how hard you love it.
That's true.
Exactly.
That is very true.
I want that on a plaque somewhere.
I agree. Yeah, wait, hold on. Yeah. Of course, yes. Three lovely people. There you go.
Hello, Kyle.
Who all do we have in the chats out there? I see Jubes. How you doing, Julie? Sarah, of course. Yeah, it's nice to have you here. All right, before we get too far, I want to make sure that we plug all your stuffs, all your everything. So, Choco, you are first of all one of our lore masters, and you are on TikTok, of course, as Darth Choco. But what else do you have going on out there?
Yeah, so definitely follow Darth Choco on TikTok. Darth Choco on YouTube, and I keep saying we're gonna make a whole bunch of more YouTube content, and I am okay. Don't look at me like that. I'm gonna plan to get a whole bunch of stuff rolling this weekend. Darth Choco IG for Instagram, and Darth Choco 7 on Twitter. So yeah, come follow me. We'll talk some Star Wars lore.
I actually started a Twitter account, and I posted a few things, but I am terrible at Twitter. I always have been.
Twitter brings out the salt in me, So sometimes you get sassy on Twitter, and you're like, "Did I say that? I mean, it's true, but why did I say it?"
It does bring out the sassy. Bucky, where can we find you? Obviously at gingersareplants.
I am at gingersareplants on TikTok and Instagram. Twitter scares me, so I stay away from there. But yeah, so that's where you can find me at gingersareplants. But yeah, I'm just TikTok and Instagram. So
I still maintain that gingers are roots, but whatever.
It's still technically a plant. Also,
That's
thank
true.
you for getting my joke.
That's true.
Nobody gets it. It's a bad joke that really only I think is funny.
What is it from? I don't know.
Me.
It's from
you.
It's just
being a
because,
nerdy
I am a
cornball.
ginger, and ginger is also a plant, or as Choco said, a root.
Yeah.
And it just was just like a bad joke that I made, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this my username. And here I am.
Problem is when you do that early on, then you're stuck with it if you start to
Exactly.
get popular. Yeah.
Exactly. It's funny how many people think my name is Ginger. So I just think it's very funny. I mean, like, I would have cruel parents if they named their ginger child Ginger.
I'm sure that's a no. I would
Oh
not
yeah, I
be.
wouldn't be surprised.
I found that I get people who like if a company reaches out and they're like, "Hello, Darth." That's not a name. Like, yeah.
That's why I went with something easy like Fulcrum. That's pretty simple. Nobody's gonna think that that's my name, and I can hear it. I can respond to it. Everybody in my regular world, like my job out there, calls me by my first and last name, but they say it all as like one word. So it's nice, like in Star Wars world, that I don't get that. I don't get the Nick Williams. It's like just all one. It's either like Nick or Fulcrum. I'll take either.
Uh-huh.
All right, Choco. So you are what we refer to as a lore master, but for those of you out there that don't know what that is, what is a lore master?
So this is my own personal. I assume I see Element 7. I died in the chat, so I assume we have the same definition. But someone who's just deeply interested in the lore of Star Wars, and it's not that you have to know everything or have read everything. I've certainly read a lot, but it's more about trying to be true to the lore. It's more about the willingness to accept new information and to try and Sherpa people, other people into the fandom as best and appropriately as we can. So, I mean, Bucky's one of my favorite lore masters as well.
Oh, that's very sweet. I would not consider myself a lore master, though.
I wouldn't consider myself either. I have not been granted the rank of master.
You're a lore knight.
I'll take lore knight. I'll take that, but I almost don't want the responsibility.
Lord Padawan?
There is a weird responsibility that comes with it.
That's just it. Yeah.
Of like,
Yeah.
someone else makes weird videos, and then people are like, "Is this?" You'll get tagged 1,000 times or get it sent to you, and so even if you don't want to, you're like, "I kind of have to make another video to explain why this is incorrect." But yeah, that happens.
Okay. So speaking of which, what is, as a lore master, your most frustrating topic that you have to deal with? I already see it in your face.
There's a few of them. I would say it has changed recently. Before I would have said Gray Jedi.
I knew it
right out of the gate because it's not a
as soon
thing.
as you said that, I was like, it's gonna be Gray Jedi, isn't it?
But it has changed for me recently. Now it's the topic of attachments. And the reason it's changed is because the reason we get to Gray Jedi in the first place is misunderstanding attachments and being like, "Oh, I don't want to give up my friendships, so I'm going to be a Gray Jedi." Like, and you're like, "No, you can still be friends. You can still be close to people." Like, yeah, it's just an ever going thing,
Yeah. It's really interesting, the discourse that pops up, especially on YouTube with all of that. But yet, like, it feels like a cycle that even when you address it a few times, like a couple weeks later, it'll come up again and be this whole thing. And I think
that's the other responsibility of a lore master. You have to make the same video every 4 months.
That gets very frustrating. That's always like the balance of the force for me too. Like, that's not how the force works. That pops
it's the same amount of Jedi and Sith, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a numbers game. Yeah. That's how it works. What about you, Bucky? What is a topic that kind of drives you insane?
I mean, as an Ahsoka Tano stan, it is also Grey Jedi, and also the constantly being like, no, she's not. That's not what that means. It's just it's also exhausting, especially when it's like your favorite character and it's just a complete like a misunderstanding of it. That can be. It can be very frustrating. So it's like, no, I don't want to have this conversation again. Please don't make me do it.
I mean, I will say years ago, I didn't know Grey Jedi weren't a thing, and this is a while back until I started to like dive into the expanded universe even more. So I was at one point, and this was way before like Disney got a hold of Star Wars. But there are some ignorant things that I had to get over myself.
No, I was there. I was there too. I was right in the thick of it. I mean, like I feel like it's just part of something everyone goes through on their journey. When you get, okay, I'm more interested in stuff, and you start jumping from Wikipedia article to Wikipedia article. But the article is A, written by fans, and B, doesn't actually explain the whole thing, and you get into some weird places only looking at that. But yeah, I was certainly there as well.
By the way, Bucky, you got this from Element 7.
I know, I saw that Element. That's so sweet. Thank you. I feel very honored, especially coming from you. Also from you, Choco, as well. That was very sweet. So it's because it is definitely one of those things, a little bit of the imposter syndrome of it all, of like, these people know so much more than me, so there's no way that I could be this. So
I would definitely say you're up. I mean, like you can recite not only all the Padme's crew, but their backstories and their names, and like you've got all that down. You're a lore master in my book too.
Also, I like, for me, the most important part is, what do you do when you find out you were wrong about something, or when something new comes out? Do you say, well, that's not Star Wars because it disagrees with my preconceived notion? Or do you say, this is something that was added to Star Wars, and update your lexicon? Like that's a big part of it too.
It really is. Switching gears, favorite topics to talk about as lore masters? I know, right? That's a big.
I mean, I can go on for days pitching stories and ideas and things that we would love to see. And a big part of, Bucky's content is people I would love to see interact. But I don't want to cross too much into that. I'll let Bucky take care of it. There's times where like, oh, I want to make this video, but like,
you should do it.
Bucky would do it so much better.
I do some of those videos too, but I sometimes have to go check and see if Bucky did it recently.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the only things I ever really think about is just like interpersonal connections between like characters. Because I mean, it all started with Luke and Ahsoka. It's like a complete, just like a one-off thing of, hey, I don't think these two characters have met. And then I didn't stop thinking about that one specific topic for like 2 years. and like then everything that spirals out of it from there. And it's like, especially because it's like, honestly, my favorite topic to talk about within Star Wars is the themes, and one of the thing that means the most to me in Star Wars is the themes of family. And so like seeing that like ever expanding and like and everything that it means for that, and like people who should be considered family of the other but don't even know that the other exists.
So speaking of which, when it comes to Ahsoka, I know both of you are big Luke fans too, right?
Oh yeah.
If I'm not, yeah. Mm-hmm. So having the first interaction on the Book of Boba Fett with Luke and Ahsoka, and I know Bucky, that meant like the world to you, and me too. I mean, the whole thing with Codename Fulcrum is because of Ahsoka. So I'm also massive fans of both. But when that happened, what was your initial reaction?
I feel bad for my college roommate last year, who was in the middle of a Zoom class while I was watching that episode, because I was not a sane person about any of it. Because it was really funny. I had like an 8 a.m. class like that Wednesday that it came out, and I was like, I'm not gonna stay up to watch this episode. I'm honestly glad I didn't, because then I wouldn't have been able to sleep. And I finally get around to watching the episode. And as soon as like Din woke up from his little nap on the little bench, which I always thought that was hilarious. He wakes up from his little nap, and Ahsoka is just standing there. I had to pause it, stand up from my chair, and just like pace back and forth and like sit on the floor for like 5 minutes, because I'm like, Luke Skywalker is like a half mile that way. Does this? I was losing my mind, and my poor roommate was just like, I think Bucky has lost their mind. I had, and it just, yeah, that episode means so much to me. And I cried. I'm unashamed. I cried. Yeah, no, I fully cried. Of course I did. Are you kidding me?
I had all the feels too. Yeah.
My
I get
dreams
that.
came true.
I'm just imagining Bucky turning into a cartoon rocket and just taking off.
That was, and then I had a class like immediately afterwards. So I'm just sitting there trying to listen to my professor, and I'm like, it wasn't. I don't remember a single thing that she said that day. My entire brain was taken over by just the image of Ahsoka Tano standing next to Luke Skywalker.
I just need to go watch that scene over and over again.
Yeah. I watched the
Little
episode
reference
probably
to
like 3 times
Anakin.
that day. Old friend of the families. You're so much like
There
your
we go.
father.
And I know so much of your TikTok videos is like their interactions are like what could have been or what the initiation point might have been.
Which is something I'm still very much hoping for, because we kind of like skipped that entire conversation of them being like,
Yes.
what
Yeah.
do you mean Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala have a child? 2 childs?
I mean,
So-
listen, the thing, even more, and I love Luke and Ahsoka, but the thing that gets me the most is R2D2 is here as well. So like I can picture Ahsoka, being like, oh, Skywalker, I know that name, I'm gonna go find that person. But like, what happens when she saw R2 with that guy?
R2E.
What did R2
R2E.
say? You know what I mean? Like, that is the interaction I need the most. He's like, oh, this is my droid. Yeah, no, I know that droid. Like, yeah, that's how I feel.
It's because also it's the thing I've thought about that same thing of, it's not just like reconnecting with Luke, but also like her old friend, like her old friend the droid, which is something I was thinking about though. Does Luke and do Luke and Leia know that R2D2 and C3PO were their parents' droids? Because as far as I know, there's not like a moment where that happens. And so, like, the pure just like shock of then also finding out that the droid you've been like saving the galaxy with for the last like 10 years. Oh yeah, also that was your father's droid. Oh yeah, C3PO. Oh yeah, your dad built that. Like,
And I mean,
that was
R2
a
had
gift.
secrets.
Yeah, that was a gift to your mom. Like, after they got married, and like R2 was owned by your mom and was given to your dad. Like, yeah, I need that. I do need those interactions.
Yeah. I hope they do that at some point.
me too. Me too.
We do have Hera and Luke talking about Kanan.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I just saw your video talking
saw
about that
that.
comic.
Yeah.
That was very. I'm so happy that
I'd just seen them together. Yeah. So speaking of which, recently, I'm going to pop this up here. Ashley Eckstein posted this with Vivian Lyra Blair of those two together. And so then, of course, I know, Bucky, for you, that was like a whole new, like, what if Ahsoka met like a little Leia?
Little baby Leia. Yeah, no, it was a very happy day on Instagram.
So I want you to walk it through us what you think this scenario would be. What is this story?
Oh man, that's a good question. Okay, no, actually, I know exactly what it would be, because this is also something that I've thought about, is the fact that Ahsoka Tano was a Fulcrum agent. Surprise. But I just really talking on the Codename Fulcrum podcast, yeah. But like Ahsoka was a Fulcrum agent. She worked in the rebellion. Bail Organa recruited her to the rebellion. I fully believe that she has met Leia at some point. Like it's the headcanon that just makes me happy. Because even if it was, I don't think it would have been little baby Leia, just because based on what the Leia Princess of Alderaan novel, which I love that book so much. Like Leia didn't really get involved in the rebellion until like she was like 15, I think it was.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
16, 15 or 16.
She stumbled to a base.
Yeah.
Sorry, great book.
Yeah. Oh, that book was so good. But and so if she's working with the rebellion, I fully think that she at some point would have met Leia, or at the very least, absolutely, she just knows who Leia like Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan is. But I really hope that they had met in the rebellion at one point.
I mean,
well, so we do.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
In the Ahsoka novel, there is a scene where Ahsoka sneaks aboard Bail's ship, and like Bail is like teaching little Leia how to read, and like Ahsoka because it's told from her perspective, and she can tell that like Bail asked her a question. I don't remember what the question was, but it was like a hint to see if she knew about Leia, about Padme, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so Ahsoka says like she could tell he was probing to find something out, but she didn't know what. And so like Leia was there, but of course this is when Leia's a child. I think she had to have figured it out at some point, or even if she didn't figure that part out, they worked together. They had to. They were both in the rebellion. Leia was around helping them steal ships, which were modeled after ships in the Old Republic. Which is there's a lot. There's just a lot of stuff.
I mean, even with that, like Bail had, they had a lot of meetings on Alderaan, and it's possible that they could have interacted without knowing at some point. I'm gonna hold on to hope that happened.
Yeah. And
until I'm told it didn't happen, I'm gonna hold on to that. Especially after seeing that picture.
Yeah.
All right. So let's switch gears. Let's go into a different Star Wars topic. The Bad Batch. So we're in the middle of the Bad Batch. I know not everybody on this stream has seen today's episode, so don't worry. We're not gonna talk spoilers on today. But as far as this season, what are kind of our initial impressions on what's going on with the crew? I can go first. I can.
I'm like, I don't want to keep talking over people. So somebody else go first. I'm going with my thoughts.
I'll go first. So I enjoy the Bad Batch, but it is not at all like a favorite animated show of mine. I think there are a lot of great moments, but as far as like the storytelling of like Rebels or Clone Wars, but I still enjoy it. I love seeing this time period that we never really get to explore or get to see, the just post Order 66 and what's happening. What we get to see with the clones, a lot of the transitions I find to be super interesting, and transitions with the Empire. But I think the flow sometimes is a little uneven with the show, for me on occasion.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think it's interesting because, and I feel like I talk about this all the time, but like the plot of the Bad Batch is the Bad Batch taking care of this young girl and teaching her how to, keeping her safe in this galaxy and whatnot. Like that's the plot of it. And I feel like the fan base gets weird when that's what we're watching. So whenever I hear people say something is filler, it's literally the Bad Batch teaching Omega. Like that is the plot. So like I think the disconnect is that the plot of the Bad Batch would be filler in the Clone Wars, but they're two different shows, and I think that gets people confused. But I'm kind of in the same, like with season one. I actually stopped watching it at midnight, and stuff because there just wasn't that draw to me. I do like season two a lot more than I liked season one. But this season has also, it gave me Gunji back. And at Celebration, when I saw that announcement, I stood up so fast and I was only trying to stand up, but I ended up just jumping into the air. That's how much I misjudged it. So great to see Gunji back in the mix. And there's a lot of, I don't know, this has also gave me the same level of brain rot for what I would love to see Omega do in the future. But I don't want to go into that just yet. I'll let Bucky say whatever she wants to say before I dive into some of that.
Yeah, no, I also ditto on the Gunji reaction. I was very lucky to be at the panel, the Bad Batch panel at Celebration. So seeing that on the giant screen, and you see that Wookiee. I literally just yelled Gunji. I was so excited.
We were in that panel too. Yeah, same reaction.
Yeah, just like screaming at the top of my lungs about Gunji. So that was really great to see. And yeah, no, it's like I like the Bad Batch, but it's just kind of like it's the Bad Batch, yeah. And then those are kind of my feelings on it. It does have some really like great moments of character development and interesting aspects to this world, especially like seeing what is happening to the rest of the clones after Order 66 and with the Empire taking over, and like just what is happening to them. So I think like that is very interesting. Like us seeing Cody again was very exciting, and then as well as like just other clones and what's happening with them. I think is really interesting. But yeah, no, it definitely the Bad Batch is definitely just a different vibe from the other from Rebels and Clone Wars. Because while like Rebels was also much more like episodic than the way that like early Clone Wars was, when then transitions into the arcs, I think people were kind of expecting the continuation of like arcs, and then it not having that was kind of like the adjustment of being like, oh, this is not what I thought the show was going to be. Because at the end of the day, it's a bunch of older brothers taking care of their little sister.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, that's obviously like, there are certain things that people use, like the word filler. When it comes to trying to critique things, there's certain words that people just throw out there. And it's dealing with that all the time in comments on all videos. But yeah, the word filler, like if you think about Rebels, that like the filler episodes ended up being like the most important ones later on. Like the whole thing with the Purgle,
Yeah.
Like that's what people would have called a filler episode, but that ended up being instrumental to like everything. And so a lot of those critiques, I just have to brush off. But I mean, like last week's episode, for example, like with Tech and Omega. I mean, first of all, Tech's character this season
spoke to me.
That's the best.
I've been I've just been in that situation many times. Being married has helped, but
I mean, I had a lot of like autistic friends talk about that episode last week, and that they were very appreciative and really related to it. And there was no apology. It was just this is how I see the world, and this is how I express my feelings, and this is how I am. Just more of a telling Omega, like, this is how I view the world. I thought was brilliant. And so so I love that. And I, of course, like online you get so many different comments about Omega, about people being annoyed with Omega and like hoping that she was like force sensitive or hoping all these other things. But what you were saying, Choco, is that idea that Omega is the heart of the show. Omega is why they're on this path. How they were able to go from soldiers to now willing to just help people and how to survive. She kept the crew together. I mean, and she's not like just some whiny kid. Like, yeah, she has emotions, but I'm starting to appreciate Omega more and more as I'm seeing this all develop. And the tech aspect is definitely helping.
Yeah, for me, season 2 has just done a lot more heavy lifting in that regard, because it's less about trying to keep her from not dying and more about her actual growth. But like, we get to see in the first episode, or maybe it's the second one, they're in that shack and the guy like hands her a toy, and she's like, oh, how much is this worth? What can we get for this? Like, oh, well, we just need to go get the war chest. And like, this is a child who can't see that they're holding a toy. That's sad. That's awful in this world. That same thing at the end of the episode with her and Gunji, where the moral is very much, these are kids and they're not allowed to grow up in this world. And that sort of thing is the message and is what I really do care about. But all right, so here's my thing that's been just running my mind like 24/7. I feel like Omega was deeply wanted because of her genetic template, how close it is to Django's, but how it had been modified and changed and is still pure, right? So I think the way that we have her spending time with the group, the way that we developed how good she is at tactics and stuff like that, she had to have been a high-level military mind in the rebellion, because you're taking a whole bunch of people on the street and turning them into soldiers. Who's better to do that than Omega? Who's better to plan those tactics? Who has the military mind and acumen to create training regiments or create, strategies for doing things? Omega had to have been high level in the rebellion, and that's the only place. And I think we're learning that she doesn't really have a place in this galaxy, because she's always going to be wanted by the Empire, by all this stuff. I also think that her genetic code is possibly okay. They took Nalase. They took Nalase to Mount Tantus, right? Which we know from the expanded universe. That's where the RT cloning cylinders were, and that's where Drew Sabian, all this stuff. But I think they still need her in order to try to create a body for Palpatine. So I think she will always be hunted, and that's one of the reasons why she has to make sure that the rebels win. And so she's going to be giving her all at the top level. And I need to know, does she run into Hera again as adults?
I hope
that's
so.
true. Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. Oh man, I hadn't really thought about Omega later joining, like being high level in the rebellion, but that like completely makes sense. I love that.
I mean, it's always
can't wait
felt
to
like
see any content you make off of that page. Run with
I'll
it,
tag
please.
you in it all. Like,
I can see the brain going. I know. Yeah, inspired by. All right, Bucky. Okay. Do you have any more you want to add with the Bad Batch?
Sorry for taking over there.
Oh no, please!
Oh, no,
I love
you're
it.
Totally good. No, I love
this is
that.
This is a place for nerdery.
Yeah. No, I think. I think the one thing I also wanted to add on that line from like I think it was the first episode of the Bad Batch where the old man gives Omega the toy, also like hit me like a ton of bricks. That same thing of like, she is a child and she was confused about somebody giving her a toy. Like it's something that has definitely been coming up more this season, about the fact that we are really seeing like the world, well, the galaxy through the eyes of a child, like living through this like change in power and time of turmoil, and like how that is like affecting like the world of a child. And yeah, like the same thing with like Gunji and them like just not being allowed to really be kids, and like how much, I guess, okay, this is from a couple episodes ago, not the most recent, but like how much having Echo leave really hurt her, because like she really only has the batch because the only home she's ever known has been destroyed, and she is like not, doesn't have that like genetic like aging, and so she's still just a kid. While I think it was because of the way the ending, it was like implied by the ending of season 1 that she is technically like slightly older than the Bad Batch by years.
Yep.
Which threw me through a loop. But they were trained and made to be soldiers, and so this is just kind of them soldiering on, for lack of a better word. And but she's still just like a kid trying to keep, but still has just the innocence and the like sense of justice.
And the thought that she will outlive her brothers because of their
Don't
aging.
remind me of that, Choco.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you'll probably never have to see that. It's a ways off.
See, that's the thing. Knowing Star Wars and the way they like to make us cry, I wouldn't put it past them.
It's like, how many times can we see Order 66 from different angles, Dave? How many times?
One last thing I'm going
to
toss in there as well is the episode with Echo and how accepting they were of Echo. Sorry, not Echo, Tech, of accepting of Tech being Tech. Made me go back, and it flashed, kind of a spotlight on Wrecker as well, because Wrecker is not a big idiot, where like your mind just kind of goes there, but like dude knows how to fix weapon systems and all this stuff, and he makes mistakes because of just the type of person he is. But it's the same thing where people accept him despite his flaws, and he's never like belittled or they just treat everyone so well because they're all brothers,
Yeah, Wrecker always kind of I always felt like he was very almost childlike in certain regards, and why Wrecker and Omega were able to connect so easily early on. But I mean, even though Wrecker seems childlike, it's still it's still one of my favorite characters because just adorable, but just how he approaches the world, like a big guy, but the biggest cuddly teddy bear you've ever seen, and tries to embrace Omega with that same kind of love and care. Has a lot of depth to that.
Yeah. I still need Wrecker and Zeb together doing something. Big ass teddy bear.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreedo.
I agree.
All right, Bucky. You have a skill set that I don't have, and
as Qui-Gon would say, a particular set of skills.
Yes. And so it's specifically, and I've always told myself that I need to learn this, but it's specifically just being able to read Aurebesh.
No. It's honestly, it's not difficult. You just need to learn a new alphabet, which I know sounds very like, I need to learn a new alphabet. It's the same as others, are just different. It sounds a lot cooler than it is, being like, oh yeah, I know how to read a fictional language because I'm so cool. No, I just learned like 26 letters and then I'm good.
Oh, I mean, like learning like Tolkien's like Elvish or something is a whole new level. But I mean, it's still something I'm like, I see things, and I go to Galaxy's Edge and I see things and I just can't. I'm like, I don't know. I have to look it up, and I still
Galaxy's
have not.
Edge has some very fun has some very fun Easter eggs and like little things in there that I remember. Like last time I was there, I took a bunch of photos of things that I was like, I need to translate this because I don't have time right now. But I did impress one of the cast members because I was like staring at a sign and he was like, "Do you know how to read that?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So I felt very cool.
All right, can I throw a couple challenges at you?
Oh gosh, go for it. Let me pull up
Okay.
a little journal, make sure I remember letters.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. This is my little Aurebesh journal. It's covered in stickers because of course it is. And this is literally how I learned Aurebesh, was just like practice writing things.
I know there's a lot of people in the chat right now that are pretty appreciative of that journal right now. All right, here's I'm gonna start off really easy. Here's the first one.
Oh, I am no Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start up pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I just wanted a little warm up one, just to make sure I wasn't being a jerk face putting you through this. All right. Here's the next one.
This is where the fun begins.
That's pretty fast.
It's I mean, for some of these, it's like the full quote. Like I know the quote, so I was like, okay, this is what okay. That's sometimes how it just kind of goes of just being of like staring at it. Honestly, half of this little journal is like cryptid random letters because half the time when there's like Aurebesh in a show, it's just like in the corner and super blurry, and I'm like, is that an I or an R? Or is that an S? Is it an L? I'm just like squinting, trying to figure out what it says because it's like.
I know you had a
blurry.
field day with Kenobi.
May I make a suggestion? So I'm nowhere on the level of reading as Bucky. I can kind of muddle through it. I tried to learn, but all I did was try to learn the most common letters in the English language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like E, T, R. You know what I mean? Like S, and then you can look at something and be like, okay, this is 2 letters, second one is S, so that's is, and then like you can just kind of muddle your way through it. It's less effective from what Bucky's doing, but it's easier.
There's just something about having that nerd cred though when you're around other people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, but you are right. I did have a field day with Kenobi of me like trying to pause and like, okay, Obi-Wan, move your hand. I don't know what the other half of that word says. It was. I will say though, it is very funny when there's like little things that, like, the character will say something, be like, "Oh, it says this," and then I actually read it and go, "No, it doesn't." And that happened in Kenobi because when he's reading the thing where Quinlan had like written something, I don't remember. I don't remember what the quote that he said it said. It was like but it actually was like worded slightly differently, and I was just like, interesting. And like the same thing happened with Andor, where when he like got arrested and was going through like the processing, and they had they showed like the little cards of the sentencing cards. Most people assumed that those were like for him and like the person before him. They weren't. They were for like the completely different people who I found out later actually like worked on Kenobi. Like one of them was like the name. Hold up, I have it written somewhere. I think. Where is it? Richard Stevenson. No, Keith Seymour. That was the other one. He was a concept artist. And so like I love when they have little Easter eggs like that. Like, just a little like throw in like actual people that worked on the show's like names, and just kind of like a like homage to them.
All right, I've got one more for you. This one's not what you think, but all right, a little bit more of a challenge.
Ooh. Oh, you have it capitals.
Yeah.
So all the letters are backwards. Okay.
Oh, I got it.
Wait. Do to, do not. Is what the first line said. Sacrifice. Yeah. Okay. Do to, do not. Sacrifice, you must. Sh- shameless. Shameless plug. This is.
Yeah. So I typed in "do or do not." Subscribe, you must. Shameless
Subscribe?
plug this.
Oh, I messed up. Okay, hold up. Let me reread that. I misread it. Also, you did mistype or it says
Did
do.
it? Did it? Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the other way. There's
Yeah.
the
Curses.
Yeah. No. Okay. So
See, but you caught that, and that's
do to, do must. It says do to, do must. No, do to, do not. Sorry. Do or do not. Sacrifice. Subscribe, you must. Shameless plug. This is. There it goes. That was. I'm so good. I know how to read, guys. I promise.
I don't know how to read that. That's fine. I have to go on a had to go on a website to help me out with that. But it's still on my list. I still need to learn it. I still want to, yeah. Someday. I've with my life, I've been like traveling the world, and that's kind of what I did for work. But like, I would go to like France and try to
how
learn
casual
French.
he is.
Well,
Okay, I just casually.
Just
yes, but I've been
too busy traveling
No,
the
I was in
world
France.
to learn.
so it was a
fictional
trade-off.
stories,
It was being
Yeah.
very poor but getting to see the world. It was that little like artistic trade-off. The amount of miles that I've flown, I do not wish on anybody. It is not a way of life. Don't do it. It sucks. I'm close to 3 million.
Dang.
Yeah, that's no good. Yeah, I should be 900 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm close to. Yeah, don't do it.
Dang.
It's yeah. but yeah, so having tried to learn languages early on and then just like giving up because I would be in this country this weekend and the next weekend like somewhere else, Germany or something. Yeah, it's 3 million. That's just don't tell me what those odds are.
Living the swing kids life. Okay, let's see.
Yeah. But after post pandemic, I don't want that. I don't want that life like that. I like to be at workshops, but not so much. And I'm having a blast with Star Wars stuff. So hopefully more of this type of thing. But yeah, it's on my list. All right. In 1 week, The Mandalorian season 3 comes out. And I know the hype is up, and I know with all the trailers, there's all these theories going around, of course, what could be. But I'm just curious for the both of you, what are you most looking forward to this season?
More Baby Yoda. That's it. Just that. I just want to see that little guy. 'Cause I'm a little bit of a fan of that little guy.
Don't worry, like he's with me too. Yeah.
I mean, just going back to the world, you know what I mean? Like, I get a little bit antsy when we get too many stories that take place at the same time period.
All right.
And I feel like we spent a lot of time in this little Clone Wars pocket. But in Star Wars canon, the Mandoverse era is unpaved snow. Like it's beautiful, it's pristine, and we get to march along with them like through this journey. And that's super exciting for me. And seeing how they are connecting this up to what we're gonna see happen to the New Republic, what we're gonna see happen to the sequels. Dr. Pershing was in the trailer. We're gonna find out more about what they were trying to do with Grogu. Like there's a lot. There's a lot.
Of course, there's theories aplenty.
The armor is Rook cast. I'll die on that hill. Okay, so we have Rook cast, which that means they actually made house cast a thing, because that wasn't a thing in Legends. Are they going to bring Jodo cast into it? The whole situation, because Jodo cast was someone who was not a Mandalorian, who dressed like Boba Fett and pretended to be Boba Fett to get jobs, and then Boba ended that real quick, but but I don't know. There's there's a lot of stuff I want to see. Oh, and Mandalorian lore.
Yeah.
I love lore, and that's also
The lore
unpaid,
master
you know what
loves
I mean?
lore. Really? I would
Whoa.
have never guessed that about you.
You've heard it here first, everyone.
I just can't wait to see what went on with them. And I love Rebels, and in Rebels, you know, Sabine gave Bo-Katan the dark saber. Obviously, that did not go well, and I need to know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. First of all, I just seeing Grogu just spinning in a chair using the Force.
So cute.
I could do an entire episode of that and be perfectly content.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited to have things go back to Mandalore, and to finally have like more Mandalore focused storylines, because Mandalore has kind of been in the background for all these for the first couple of seasons, but to get that focal point, I think will be really interesting. And I really do hope we dive into some lore, especially going back to Mandalore itself.
The Bo-Katan redemption arc. Let's go.
I mean, I'm here for it. I mean, like those Bo-Katan, the picture that came out today, the posters. Yeah, I'm I'm Bo-Katan fan club there. And like, could we get Sabine this season? I mean, I think it's a possibility. I mean, the fact that they announced that character much earlier versus anything else, that's usually a Disney way of saying, hey, might be getting that earlier.
Knowing like the way that they've been like putting in like cameo characters, like honestly, I feel like Disney for Star Wars has been very good about like keeping characters like completely under wraps, and like not letting like leaks happen. Like when it comes like with Luke in season 2, little baby Leia in Kenobi. So I wouldn't be super surprised if Sabine showed up, or at the least, I think there might be a name drop of her, just because of what happened with the Darksaber. Like if like we know like obviously that Bo-Katan had it, it would make sense if they explain how she got it in the first place. So I feel like there might be a name drop of Sabine, or at least I hope there is, because I love Sabine. So
yeah, and again, like what Luke is saying though, that they could definitely like have something to kind of segue for the Ahsoka series coming out maybe this fall.
It's sounding like it might be in the fall, based on like
rumors and leaks
like rumors, and then possible leaks, and then I know that like Beth had gone through the like the like copyright stuff that Disney had put out, and it's seeming like it might be in the fall. So I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers for this fall.
I mean, fall's a good release date. Had drop a trailer at Celebration in April, and then have a fall release. Sounds about right to me, though.
I mean, hey, we got a little bit of a trailer at Celebration for Ahsoka.
I was not in the room for that, and I
lost my mind. I
so
lost
sad.
my mind.
Yeah.
It was a magical experience. Like, okay, granted, there was not a whole lot of it. It was a lot of just close-up shots of Ahsoka, and just like a little bit. You see like a little bit of a ship, and you can't really tell what ship it is. I'm assuming it's the Ghost, but like. And it's just translation to live action. It just looks a little bit different than I thought it would, but it's not really explained. The main thing is that we did see the back of Hera's head, so we know there's going to be Hera. Don't know who she's playing, who's playing her. I
mean, it's pretty heavily implied it's Mary, but it's I
also think it might be Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
But until it's like official,
Obi-Wan Kenobi's wife.
Yeah.
So.
His whole family is just in Star Wars now, which is awesome.
Seriously.
I mean, he's the one that let it slip that she's in Star Wars now.
I thought they had announced.
They announced it. I don't remember which came
first.
first.
Not officially. They hadn't it wasn't official when he had said it.
Dang.
But I think it was at Celebration or something, so it was fine. Yeah. Gets people hyped. Chuck, are you going to Celebration this year? I don't know if I asked that.
That's the goal. I have everything set up to go. There is some financial constraints that may prevent it, but we'll.
Tell me about that.
That is yeah, we're working.
I had to set up a whole like dance workshop the next weekend in the UK to like to balance all of that out. I know that's where the dance connections come in. Yeah.
Listen, I'll teach basic classes with you. Just pay me, you know.
I don't know if you know this world, but Choco and I have like dance connections from.
Yeah, I will say so you being in significantly better shape is helpful. Last time I tried shag, I almost died.
That's everybody says that though when they like doesn't matter who when they're first trying that dance. It's
okay.
It's a lot. Think of like trying to keep up to the Cantina song, and that should clue you in on like how fast that dance is. Although it does give me something to dance every time I'm like at the Cantina or something, and the Cantina song comes on. You know, it's all jazz stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I mean, the whole thing with George Lucas using, I'm going to say jazz on this channel right now.
It's a family show. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well,
No,
I haven't quite decided yet. But for the moment, until I figure out what the audience is going to be like, jazz through the different eras in the original trilogy. Yeah. But then we have some weird like 80s jazz dancing in Return of the Jedi. But you know, it's okay. They're typing it in the chat. It's fine. That's out there.
Oh,
but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I hope you can make it, but no, I totally get it. Like I'm looking at this like I definitely when Andy Serkis came up, I'm like I need a picture with Andy Serkis. This is happening. I mean, that's like all my worlds. That's like my Tolkien side. That's Star Wars. That's everything. So
he was great as Ulysses as Claw. Yeah. In Black Panther. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's definitely my first thing. Of course, like if they announce Mark at some point, I will lose my wallet. Basically, with that. When we were at Celebration last year, me and a couple of friends here, like Julie here, we were talking to was it Ian McDermott, and he like this is like earlier on in the weekend, and he let slip that they were doing like the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi this year at Celebration, and like I was like, oh my god, I like it doesn't matter, I have to be there because like I was 4 years old when that movie came out, and I think there are still probably Star Wars characters that are buried in that sandbox from 1983.
I need, from a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi. I must have it.
Yes.
I know y'all been saying you're hoping they'll drop it that weekend or at least around that time for the 40th.
It hasn't officially been announced yet, to my knowledge, but like I feel like they're doing it. I'd be shocked if they didn't do it.
For those of you out there that haven't done from a certain point of view, the books, they're fantastic. It's for A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back right now, but you get a bunch of side stories of all different characters in that, and R5, which I think we see in one of the trailers for The Mandalorian.
Yeah, because he's Pelly's droid now. Which I was so excited when I saw him like just like go through in like the background or something. I'm like, oh, it's R5.
I mean, just that little drop. I would have lost my mind if it had just R5 had just shown up in an episode, but it just means they're saving so much more to emotionally damage me with.
Can't wait. Give me the damage. I want all of it.
Yes, please. Do you have any Mandalorian predictions?
I'm gonna cry.
You're gonna cry? That's your prediction?
It's not a high bar. It's not a high bar.
But I mean, just to hear the music starting at the beginning of the episode is gonna get me.
Oh yeah. Especially because like it's seeming like we're going to actually find out this season what happened to Grogu. Hopefully, I am very excited for whatever that means. I know that I think the prevailing theory currently, at least the one that I've heard the most of people talk about, is that it was Quinlan Voss that saved Grogu. But I'm honestly just very curious as to how my little guy survived. So,
I mean, just seeing it at all, like even if it's not anybody that we know, it'll be. Well, they keep giving us those flashbacks, and I need some sort of resolve with that, versus just seeing the Jedi drop every time. It's like, come on.
Like, I know they're dead. I know. I
Yeah.
tried about this last time. You know.
Yeah, and then you're gonna drop in a preview again. Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Quinlan who saves him. And so I will say that right out. But I do hope he pops up. I hope he's the secret person that may or may not pop up at some point in time.
I mean, they keep dropping his name in things, so it just makes me wonder if there is going to be a reveal at some point. But I don't know. I mean, that could just be coincidence.
I want him to join Mando's crew, right? Okay, if you had someone who like was a Jedi Master, had fallen to the dark side, had fallen in love before, and it's just kind of like the disheveled, drunk uncle who knows about the Force that just kind of tags along and helps out, that'd be awesome. That's what I want. Give that to me.
I love that idea of Quinlan Voss just being the uncle that just like shows up and is like, "What's up, Grogu? Today we're gonna learn about how to fly. Let's go. Come on, kid."
He's seen some stuff,
Let's go. All right, here's a Parsec Saber's got a theory going. Just going full Yoda mode on them.
Yes, I want to see that toddler fight.
I mean, they're showing more for this season. And of course, Obi-Shan. Do we think Temple flashback? I still think it's the Order 66.
Yeah, I think it looks kind of similar to what we saw from the Book of Boba Fett flashbacks. So I'm thinking that it's going to be that.
But we still at some point had a Jedi Mandalorian war, right? We had the weird tapestry hanging in Mandalore. And I do think we're going to hear more about that, because I think other Mandalorians are going to see there's this little Force sensitive little green dude, and they're going to be like, should we, he might be a Jedi or whatever. So I hope we get both. I want both. And I want
Element makes a good point.
Yeah, it's Dave Filoni. It's Order 66. He has two buttons, an Ahsoka Tano button and an Order 66 button, and he slams them both daily. So
I could do without that, Dave, for the Ahsoka show. Thank you.
Please.
We had that in Clone Wars. We're good.
Please. We've seen it twice now. Tales of the Jedi and Clone Wars.
Oh, that got me. Oh, yeah. With Rex.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, I also didn't need to see it in Obi-Wan. That made it extra rough, but it did make it harder for Anakin stands to ignore his atrocities. So that was funny.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
But I was on YouTube recently just seeing a bunch of these videos pop up of just like cut of like every Order 66 thing ever, like who is
I
going
literally
through
had what this
and
video was recommended to me today on YouTube.
that's
like,
what happened to me. Why who
Pass.
went through and wanted what's that kind of damage? No thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, I could do without that, but I'm definitely looking. I would love to see kind of things coming to a head with Bo-Katan, with the Armorer, and kind of Din and Vizsla in the middle. With all of that, that's one thing I'm hoping to get this season. Looking forward to a little bit of that clash and more of a reveal with that, because again,
I'm excited to learn about who his little squad of other Mandalorians are. I'm very excited to learn about where these people come from. So
The ones in the trailers.
yeah.
Yeah.
My wild prediction is that Paz Vizsla is going to be like a big antagonist for him going forward, and especially into this season. That's my wild prediction that everyone keeps saying is not possible. I'm just saying he comes from the same sect that Din was raised in. Difference is, Din was a foundling and Paz is Vizsla, House Vizsla, and feels that the dark saber belongs to him. Feels that the crown that uh, like he probably could be Mandalore. And when we see in the trailer the Mandalorians drop onto Navarro, I think that's Paz coming to get the dark saber from Din. That's my wild prediction.
Dang. I see what you mean when with them dropping on Navarro. My honestly, I do think that's really interesting and a really interesting path for them to go down. My only asterisk on that is just how much do you think that Jon Favreau wants to constantly be in The Mandalorian? Because he already like wrote the thing and is like producing it and directing it.
I think that's all he wants to do.
I think he just wants to be a metal. I think he's probably getting kind of tired of
like,
writing and directing.
I will write myself in more. I could fully actually see Jon Favreau doing that. Of just being like, what if I'm the antagonist? What if it's
Well,
about
I mean,
me now?
we don't really know who the antagonist is going to be this season. I mean, we don't know anything about Moff Gideon at this point. On what's going on there?
Arrested.
Yeah.
That's the other big thing I need. I need to know Moff Gideon's story, like because he knew Din Djarin's name. He knew that offhand. Has intricate knowledge of Mandalorian culture and what happened with him. Was he a foundling at one point as well? I don't know.
Now everybody's minds I could see in the chat going like, yeah, what is his story? And of course, I definitely think we're gonna get more like Night of a Thousand Tears storyline, and it's gonna be like a different Order 66 damage for us there. And then see the T-1000.
I mean, hey, I always
around.
want more Giancarlo Esposito, so I'd be happy to get
Star
more
Wars
Moff
Judgment Day.
It's basically what it was. That's exactly what that was. But yeah, I mean, it's an amazing actor, so I hope they just don't like sideline them and bring him in for more. But yeah, like now that he's captured, it's like, well, okay, is he gonna still be the big bad somehow, or somebody else? Yeah. I don't think we'll know right away. I think it'll take going to the season to find out.
Well, if anything, from like a writing standpoint, they would need him in order to access Imperial stuff, right? Yeah. They don't have an inn. They don't know where any of those facilities are or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe Grogu gets taken again, and they need to be like, where would they have taken him? Well, we need Moff Gideon to tell us.
So I just saw this comment and it just brings me back. Favreau.
Beautiful babies, yeah.
Yeah. Have dancing in LA, like, and with the whole Favreau writing and being in swingers. So I'm going on a tangent. Like I was at the Derby at one point dancing, and I was like leaning up to the bar, and like one of the actors from Swingers came up and started to order a drink next to me, and I'm like, well, that's complete now. I now have the experience. It's the actor who says this place is dead anyway.
That's funny. That's got to be weird. Okay, now. Okay. That hurts my brain because, like, if you use real places and real people, they will just go to those places and be people. That's wild.
Sorry, that just brought up that memory. It was a long time ago. Oh, I can't wait. And that the fact that it's a week away. When's the last? When was the last season? When did that? I can't
Over
even.
2 years ago.
Jeez.
Yeah, December 2020.
That's okay. Yeah.
December 2020
Shameless
is
plug.
Oh yeah, please. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug for anyone who follows myself or Element 7 or our Dyad in the Force YouTube channel. We will be doing some giveaways for some Mando stuff. So like Mandalorian Black Series, Grogu Black Series.
Ooh.
There's a little Cantina playset. So yeah, that'll be a thing. As far as how to enter, I don't think we fully decided on that yet, but you will have to be following both of us. So just follow us, and then you'll see how to enter.
On YouTube.
On YouTube and TikTok.
YouTube and TikTok.
Or YouTube or TikTok. Yep.
YouTube or
But
TikTok.
you do have to be following us.
All right. And of course, you have Died in the Force on Saturdays, yes?
Yes, Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Excellent. So go over there. And of course, now I've got this going. And I know first time around, it's going to be a little rougher. I'm going to get better at this. It's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. I was definitely nervous in the beginning, like of all the tech side of things, getting that going. But now I'm feeling overly confident. It's going to be great.
Don't get cocky, kid.
This is where the fun begins. Me never. No, but again, I'm very happy that I had both of you on here, and you were like I thought you were the perfect people to have on this week, and I will forever be grateful to both of you for helping me get this going today. Do you have do either of you have any other plugs to put out there? Like, no, go follow them. That's the main thing. Go follow them on all their things. Yes, and you will be, and all the stories that Bucky has going on in her head right now will all be played out on TikTok in the next week. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Stand by for lots of Mando coverage. That's what I can say.
I know, yeah, so much Mando coverage, and like, so next week, make sure you watch the Mando episode before jumping on here, because it will have just dropped that day, and of course we'll be talking about it. I've got the Podwans. I got Luke, Char, and Harith coming on here, which that plus the Mandalorian drop, I think it's going to be a little hectic. It's going to be great.
Excellent group of people.
Yeah, we'll be losing our minds on that one. So yeah, that'll be next week. And of course, Codename Fulcrum on here. I'm here on Twitch and YouTube. If you can follow both, that would be fantastic. I'll love you forever. Trying to get this built it's not easy if you've ever tried it. I was talking to Choco about that before coming on, and yeah, it takes time. So I appreciate all of you showing up today and being on here for that. Means the world to me. Having y'all in the chat, seeing some lifelong friends on there too, is fantastic. But again, thank you to both of you for being on here. And I can't wait to talk to you more and hopefully see both of you in person at Celebration. Bucky, you're in the same state, right? We're all in the same state, I believe. Is that right? Are we all in California?
Are you in California, Bucky?
Oh yeah. Sorry, my screen keeps freezing. Yeah, no.
Oh yeah. I'm like, we don't all live that far away from each other yet. Yeah,
I guess I didn't know that. Maybe it's last time I asked was when you were away at school and then in Europe.
Yeah, no, I was living in a different country for 2 months this year, so that was fun.
I love Ireland. Yeah.
Well,
I'm very excited to see you guys in London this year. So
yes,
and we should also plan a Galaxy's Edge trip. I will be going there. I have a new date, but I'll let y'all know off screen.
Yes, please. I can't wait. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, everybody, for joining. Again, this has been Secret Transmissions. I'm Fulcrum, Nick, and we will see you next week. Thank you.